this is PJ. So today I just wanted to talk with you for a few minutes about what we're going to be covering in the Mind Hacking 101 course over the next few weeks. Now, as you might recall from Chapter 4 of Thinking Things Done, where we talked about the blueprint for 3D living, dare, dream, deliver. Well, the first few weeks in the course, we're going to be focusing exclusively on the first D, dare. And basically what that consists of is emotional readiness, meaning that you're in an emotional state where you can actually go after what you want, where you're feeling positive, where you are confident, and you are committed to getting the results that you want. Now, there's a couple of different steps to doing this. And basically, one way to think about this is that it's like driving a car and needing to shift gears. We want to shift you from being in negative to being in a positive state. But in order to do this, we have to pass through neutral first. And this is something that most self-help books leave completely out. They are full of techniques for taking you from neutral to positive, but almost completely silent on the subject of getting from negative to neutral. So what we're going to be doing, first of all, is the thing that you're going to be learning in the first week is from Chapter 5 is about the brain's emotional system and basically how it determines which of these states you're going to be in at any given point in time. Then, next week with Chapter 6 and the Instant Motivation video and CD that I have as supplements for you, we're going to get into how to go from neutral to positive in a very quick and simple way that's easier than almost anything that's taught anywhere, anytime about getting motivated. In fact, it's so simple that most of Chapter 6 is actually about troubleshooting for the cases where it doesn't work. And of course, the cases where it doesn't work are the cases where you're not in a neutral state to start with, where you already have a negative feeling about something. And so the purpose of all of the materials for next week are going to be to get you in a place where you know what the difference between positive and neutral is. And that's really important because I've found that a lot of naturally struggling people think they know what a positive state is, but they really don't because they haven't actually experienced it, or they didn't know that what they were experiencing was a positive state, and they think that what they're experiencing on a day-to-day basis, which might be neutral at best, is positive, and that's not the case. So the purpose of your work next week will be to learn what it feels like to experience a positive state, and also how to be able to tell whether you're in a neutral state or not. In a sense, I guess you might say that next week you're going to be learning how to read which gear you're in, which is very, very, very important before moving forward. Now, in the week after that, with Chapter 7, if I get it finished on time, which at this point I'm looking pretty good for, but I also have a video and some other materials that relate to the same information on Chapter 7 that may actually be even more helpful than the chapter itself. And what we're going to be teaching you then is how to go from negative to neutral. Now, it might not seem like such a big deal to go from negative to neutral. In fact, I use the phrase no big deal sometimes to refer to this neutral state. But it's really critically important, especially if you're a naturally struggling person trying to move to being naturally successful. Earlier today, I had a one-on-one consultation with one of the Mind Hacking 101 students who was having trouble making a career choice and also moving forward on that. And we went through a few things, and in about an hour and a half call, we made 7 changes to his belief and feeling structure. And at the end of it, I had him go back and try thinking about the things that made him feel blocked at the beginning of our conversation. And he was really stunned by just how natural everything seemed to feel. It was just like, oh, it feels like I could just do it. And I said, like it's no big deal, right? He was like, yeah. And that's because that's what the neutral state is. It's not that you're all pumped up and fired up and motivated. No, it's just, yeah, I could do that. That doesn't sound like any big deal. It's not a state of being pumped up and super motivated. It's just being, oh, I could do that. Yeah, it's no big deal. So the most important techniques, in fact, most of the techniques that we teach in the Mind Hackers Guild that are about getting you unstuck are techniques designed to take you from some negative state to the neutral state so that then you can move forward. Now, we won't be covering every single possible technique that we teach in the Guild. There are always new ones that I'm developing, and there are ways that we're continually finding to streamline some of the techniques and so forth. But we are going to give you quite a few of the basics so that you'll be able to troubleshoot and take care of some simple basic beliefs and feelings that keep you back from different things. So we'll have a variety of those things going on in the weeks to come, even though the book chapters will start to shift away after the next 4 weeks. The book chapters are going to start to shift away from dealing with blocks and move more towards planning and balance and taking action, developing habits, all of the sort of traditional time management and productivity type stuff, except with the specific mind hacking twists that you will come to notice in my work. And these are all things that are very simple ways of getting the result, similar to the very simplified method of getting positive motivation that you'll be learning next week. So after we've taken care of blocks, the last piece in the DARE portion of the course in these first 4 weeks, when you'll be dealing with Chapter 8, is about commitment. And that's basically could be compared to, okay, so now you've shifted gears, so now are you ready to take your foot off the clutch and let this thing pop into action? Okay, and so there we're going to be talking about how to, we're going to actually take all of these emotional steps of like all of the pieces that you're going to be learning in the next 3 weeks between chapters 5, 6, and 7, and showing how this all fits together into a master decision-making process that I use, that basically goes from comparing the positives about the things that you want, not taking the negatives into consideration, removing any negatives so that you are at least neutral or positive about all your choices, and then choosing the thing out of that you want most, and then and only then considering any negative aspects and taking that into account in order to decide whether you really want to actually commit to that particular goal, knowing that it's the thing that you want most. So this is going to be really quite an assortment of very valuable information that's going, and more importantly, if you apply it, it's going to make a really big difference in your life from this emotional readiness perspective. Now, I don't expect that you will necessarily know at the end of that time how to eliminate every single emotional block that you have. The purpose of the Mind Hackers Guild forum and of our workshops is to provide an opportunity for you to work with me and other members of the group in helping you find and troubleshoot the specific blocks that you're having. So if you have something that you're not sure how to apply the techniques that you've learned to, then bring that to the forum so that we can all help you troubleshoot. Okay? But first off, you're just going to need to concentrate on learning the concepts and learning the techniques and doing the exercises and skill development practices that I'll be assigning you both through the book chapters and through the supplemental materials. So I hope that this has given you a pretty good overview of where we're going in the first few weeks out of the overall course. Of course, if you do have any questions, please feel free to get on the Pathfinders forum and shoot me a post there, and then that way when I reply, everybody else can see the answer. So I really hope that this has been helpful, and leave me a message, let me know how I'm doing. Thanks.